Good morning and happy Sunday. Now we're celebrating another Sunday Lent, and we have the example of the man born blind. And the question that I'd like to pose to you today, was it really a favor that Jesus was doing for the man born blind? Now, at first, this seems like a stupid question. Of course, he was blind, and afterwards he was able to see. But we have to think of some of the effects that this actually has in the life of the young man, or the gentleman who had been born blind. He lost his livelihood. He had been begging his entire life long, and now all of a sudden, obviously being able to see, he was not going to be able to do that anymore. So he suffers at least a temporary economic loss. He also loses his community. We know that the Jews are very upset that Christ has healed him on a Sabbath, and they throw him out of the temple. They throw him out of the synagogue. They go to his parents. His parents, they kind of wash their hands of him. They say, hey, he's old enough, ask him. We don't know what's going on. Kind of a bummer move on their part. And so we could even think that he loses his family a little bit. So here we have a man who his whole life changes radically because Christ comes. And in addition to that, when he stuck mud in his eyes, he rubs mud in his eyes. And if any of you have brothers and grew up wherever it rained, at some point you probably had the same experience, and it's not the most lovely experience to have mud in your eyes. But then we can see what really happens. Christ uses this opportunity to change this man's entire life for the better. And then something that's always fascinated me about this passage is that, well, since this man was always blind, and it's Christ who's healing him, the first thing that he ever saw was the face of Christ. And I can just imagine how awesome that must have been for him. We all suffer times of darkness, blindness, maybe even right now in our lives because of big external world events or personal events. We can feel like we're stuck in darkness. But Christ has come to be light. Christ has come to fill our hearts with a lot of love, with a lot of enthusiasm, with a lot of motivation. So I think we can be sure it was a good thing for this man to be healed by Christ. Have a great Sunday. If you're unable to go to Mass, well, do your best to follow it online. God bless, and may God keep you safe.